Welcome, everyone. On behalf of the Greater Kansas City Council, I'm pleased to share with you the spiritual yearning for a healed world, interfaith arts, music, poetry, and stories. We're excited to share with you the inspiring group of people that have come to share their faiths with you. But first, my name is Ira Surkar Harrit. I'm the Sufi director with the Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council. And I want to first, though, thank the Climate Council of Greater Kansas City for hosting this event, and especially thank Bob Grove, the Climate Council's director, for his engineering the program and all the work that he's done to coordinate and make Earth Week possible. But first, a little bit about the Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council. The Greater City Interfaith Council is made up of 22 faith traditions. Primarily, the work of the council is to increase multi-faith understanding. We provide educational programs about the many diverse faiths and traditions represented in the Kansas City area. Among the council's goals are to model and promote spiritual and religious values, especially those of mutual respect and cooperation, which is greatly needed in a society often intolerant of cultural and religious diversity. And to make the community more aware of the spiritual values that can help resolve issues related to the environment, climate change, and other challenges facing society. Which calls us to offer the forum that we are tonight. For anyone who has found peace walking in the woods or on a beach or elsewhere in the wild, it is plain that a part of being human is to feel a connection with nature. And this connection is seen in the religious teachings and practices of almost all faiths. For Jews, Christians, Muslims, God's creation can inspire reflection, reverence, and stewardship. For Buddhists, Hindus, and Taoists, followers embrace an invisible spiritual link between nature and human beings. And for indigenous peoples, the earth and all life is sacred and can impart spiritual wisdom. Nature can provide many things that feed us, physically and spiritually. Peace, solace, thankfulness, inspiration, a feeling of the presence of the divine, all come from being in nature. A quote from the author Antoine de Saint-Exupéry helped inspire the organizing committee to choose the format for tonight's program. Saint-Exupéry once wrote, "If you want to build a ship, don't drum up the men to gather wood, divide the work, and give orders. Instead, teach them to yearn for the vast and endless sea." With that in mind, we have created this forum in hopes that it will stimulate and deepen participants' yearning for a whole and healthy world, and move you to express this yearning in care and reverence for creation. We will present nature-inspired art, music, poetry, and stories from Buddhist, Catholic, Christian, Jewish, and Muslim, Hindu, Native American, pagan, Sukyo Mahikari, and Sufi faith traditions, reflecting how each faith finds reverence and care, wisdom and hope from a relationship and engagement with nature. Oops. Sorry, I have a bit of nature trying to jump in my lap. I will ask each of our faith leaders to self-introduce themselves after the last presenter has made his presentation or her presentation. We'll invite questions from the audience, so keep your questions in mind. I thank you so much for being here tonight. And to start, I will share a little bit from my own spiritual faith, the Sufi tradition, and my own experience. In the Sufi tradition, there is a teaching by Hazrat Inayat Khan, who is a Sufi master that came to the US at the beginning of last century. And he wrote, "There is one holy book, the sacred manuscript of nature, the only scripture which can enlighten the reader." Another great Sufi poet and writer of the 13th century, Sadi, wrote, "Every leaf of a tree becomes a page of the book once the heart is opened and it has learnt to read." So I'll share a story that opened my heart, being in nature. In the early 80s, I was working for an organization that focused on sustainable food systems. And I attended a workshop or a conference that was taking place at one of the group campgrounds at the Lake of the Ozarks in southern Missouri, or mid-Missouri. And it was a conference of consumer co-ops. And one of the rages at the time was kind of a series of books by Alvin Toffler called Future Shock, and I think that book that was being discussed at that conference was The Third Wave. And basically, I think there maybe was another book called Megatrends, but it was an analysis of where the world was going. And this was particularly focused at this conference on food systems and how it might impact consumer co-ops and organic food production and things like that. In any case, the predictions of the increase in factory farming and the devastation that it would have for the environment and other trends just was really depressing. I left the meeting in this evening meeting where this book was being kind of analyzed and presented, and walked out into the oak hickory forests near the Lake of the Ozarks in this camp on a dark night, and just kind of wondered what's going to happen in the future. And I looked at the trees, the beautiful forests around me, and thought, is this forest going to be here for future generations? And I just had this very sad feeling of that. The answer was, I couldn't guarantee that would be the case, that this forest might not be able to be enjoyed and sustain the wildlife that lived there in the future. But then I had kind of a communion with the trees. And in the process, the trees kind of spoke to me and said, and I spoke to them, and I said I would do what I could, and I didn't know whether it would be enough. And the trees kind of in response told me that was good. That was good enough. Do what you can and just give up the rest. In any case, it's an experience that has stuck with me all these many years later, and just reminds me that nature is alive, and we can feel its presence, we can communicate with it, and we can serve it as well. And so before we move on to the next speaker, I'd like to share first a couple of couplets that Hazrat Inayat Khan wrote, and I invite you to just breathe in on the first line and breathe out on the second. And I'll repeat it maybe each one twice. My heart is tuned to the quietness. Breathing that in. That the stillness of nature inspires. My heart is attuned to the quietness that the stillness of nature inspires. Oh, O nature sublime, through thy silence I hear thy cry. O nature sublime, through thy silence I hear thy cry. Let the earth reflect heaven, that I may read life as an open book. Let the earth reflect heaven, that I may read life as an open book. And then a poem by Rumi. What was said to the rose that made it open was said to me here in my chest. What was told the cypress that made it strong and straight, what was whispered to the jasmine, so it is what it is. Whatever made sugarcane sweet, whatever was said to the inhabitants of the town of Chigili in Turkestan that made them so handsome, whatever lets the pomegranate flower blush like a human face, that is being said to me now. I blush. Whatever put eloquence in language that's happening here, the great warehouse doors open, I fill with gratitude, chewing a piece of sugarcane, in love with the one to whom every that belongings. It's by Rumi. Thank you. Now I'd like to turn this over to Jim Sneed with the Kansas City Pipe Circle.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. We are the Bohemian Dandelions. It's a music group. I know that's kind of a strange name, but it was named with intent because it really reflects my own personal spiritual journey as kind of a nomadic searcher. Anyway, I would call our music earth spirit music because it is mostly focused on our connection with the Mother Earth and the spiritual connections and how that all ties together, and our connections with everyone, all walks of life. And our group is open to people from any walk of life, and we get together. Our songs are prayer songs, and we all do it our own way, and that's what makes it so powerful for me. Just to introduce the current group, we've had lots of people over the years kind of come and go, but I'd first like to introduce and thank the two ministers from the Kansas City Pipe Circle, Lee Slusher, Stumbling Deer, and Kara Hawkins. And then they've I'm grateful to them because not only have they taught me so much over the years, but they've, over the last number of years, they kind of helped me keep this thing going, keep it moving forward. And they probably taught me so much over the years. Probably the only thing they have left to teach me is what not to do. But at some point, our next member, she's kind of an answer to prayer because I always wanted to have birds chirping while we were playing our music and have other nature sounds and little percussion flavors here and there. And our friend Candy shows up and she's like, I can do that. So this is Candy. And then our newest member, which I'm real excited about, is Cheyenne, sitting next to me here. She's just recently joined us, and she's just added a lot of really beautiful, powerful energy to our group. So I'm real excited about that. That I was contemplating the two songs that we chose to share. the other day, and what came to me was the first song is a prayer with the Mother Earth. And it's kind of a prayer where we're acknowledging our connection to the Mother and to all that is, and our dependence on that, and just with a deep sense of gratitude, just acknowledging. I think probably the best thing you could do to melt a mother's heart is just to look at her and say thank you. And that's what that song does for me. It's my way of saying thank you. And then I was thinking about the second song that we've kind of welded into this. And I felt like it was the Mother responding back to our prayer. And I felt like I could almost hear her voice as I was thinking about it. And I felt like she was saying, not only have I birthed you, but I birthed everything that you need to live this life. I created a balance, an ecosystem, so that everyone feeds everyone, and all my children can live, not just the humans, but the rocks, the trees, the birds, everything there is. And she says, I've birthed you, I've given you air to breathe, I've clothed you, I give you fire for warmth, and I give you water when you're thirsty. I give you shelter to shelter out the storm. And it's like she's saying, and now you're all grown up now, and now it's time for your giveaway. I need help too. I'm the Mother. I want to give all that I can to my children, to show my love to my children, but I need help. I need you to play your part in the giveaway and in creating the balance. And I think that's what our prayer songs are praying and are saying to ourselves, that we can find ways to do that. And I think every tradition, every walk of life have their own unique gifts to give to the people and to all the people. And I want to be a part of that. So that's my prayer. So just to kind of sum it up, there's an old line from a very old school gospel song that I like. And the choir is singing, God gave you your mother, please don't drive your mama away. That's
Here we go.
Thank you, dandelions. Beautiful. Our next speaker will be Dennis Cody, who is the Catholic Faith Director from the Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council. So Dennis?
Yeah, as Ira said, my name is Dennis Cody. I'm a counselor on the Interfaith Council, representing the Catholic tradition. In 2006, to address growing ecological awareness and the need to implement Catholic social teaching on ecology within the U.S. Church, the U.S. Catholic bishops helped form the Catholic Climate Covenant, a coalition of more than 25 national organizations, religious congregations, parishes, and thousands of individuals tasked with sharing authentic Catholic teaching on creation and the poor by informing and inspiring community leaders to take action. These efforts got a kickstart in 2015 when Pope Francis issued an encyclical letter on the environment that he called Laudate Si, care of our common home. Young people especially have been involved in the covenant. One such person is Casey Morano, an artist who worked with the covenant to explore how art can inspire climate action. Casey was a senior at the University of Richmond in 2021, when she made the following video for the Catholic Climate Covenant. She is now living and working at Bethlehem Farm, an intentional Catholic community in Appalachia, where she continues to use art to promote environmental justice through the lens of faith. Here's Casey's essay called The Art of Caring for Creation, and the art that you'll see displayed is her art.
When I walk alongside the river, I notice ducklings drifting by, decaying piles of invasive winter creeper vines and amber honeysuckle peeking through scatterings of gravel pebbles, and families gathered for picnic lunches. With each step, I wonder about the footprints that have faded into the earth but nonetheless touch this ground, and the ones that will leave a mark after me. I ponder my relation to our common home as Pope Francis explores in Laudato Si. As I bike back to the studio, the loud whoosh of cars speeding past makes me aware of our integral ecology, how the climate crisis disproportionately affects the most vulnerable neighbors in Christ. Breathing in the exhaust alerts me to the power lines, pipelines, aggressively embedded but only subtly demarcated, flowing in paths parallel to the water. Furthermore, invisible but influential red lines outline places with higher temperatures, less concrete, fewer trees. These lines of power separate the river from neighboring people whose water comes from the same source. As we know from the sacrament of baptism, water is a source of life. As in the Bible, stories of thirsting and drought are part of this watershed, but so is resilience. Art making is a spiritual practice, a prayer practice, a life practice that grounds me in our collective call for building, for caring for creation, God's kingdom on earth. As I create layered oil paintings, collages, and watercolor monotypes based on the plein air studies at the river, I remember we are pilgrims on the journey of life, called to walk gently and intentionally in radical solidarity with our neighbors.
Thank you, Dennis, and thank you, Cody. Just a reminder, if you have a question that you want to ask any of the panel members or all the panel members, please enter it into the Q&A box that you'll find at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Our next speaker is Dr. Ken Sonnenschein, who will share from a Jewish perspective his contribution to caring for the earth.
Thank you so much, Sir Carr, and thanks to everyone for being part of a really wonderful evening of celebration. So when I was asked about presenting, having something either art or music or story, I opted for story and sharing a connection with a project that I coordinate called Mitzvah Garden KC. So I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation, and I hope this works. Let's see. Actually, you know what? I may have a technical difficulty of making sure the sound is on. So the Mitzvah Garden is a program of the Jewish community where we bring volunteers from all over our Jewish and general community to come together to fulfill one of God's commandments, which is among a whole group of commandments about caring for others in our community, referred to as a kind of group of three: the widow, the orphan, and the stranger. And this is one of those commandments about when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap all the way to the edges of your field or gather gleanings of your harvest. You shall leave them for the poor and the stranger. I am the Lord your God. This is Leviticus 22. So this is the general idea of the Mitzvah Garden, but also, like already has been talked about, and actually just now, about this idea of us being pilgrims on a journey called life. We just finished celebrating a celebration of Exodus or Passover, where we retell the story of the Jewish people who were enslaved in Egypt and then found liberation. And every year we have a Seder that is to remind us of that Exodus or migration. At the Mitzvah Garden, which is located on the grounds of the Temple Congregation B'nai Yehuda, we grow produce. And last year we talked about our connection with the earth in terms of our collection of water on the building you see in this picture. And then we collect it in these totes and we bring the water through drip irrigation. This year, I thought I would talk about migration and its connection to the Exodus story. The birds that you see in this picture
We're not seeing any
hardens.
birds. Your image isn't working. Share screen, click the sound button and play.
Let's try again. Okay. There, now is it working?
Yes, that looks good.
Good. Okay, sorry about that. So these are the birds. Now you see the birds. And these birds are called purple martin. And I thought what I would do is share with you their song, because what better way to celebrate life and the earth around us than with the song that comes from nature itself. So here it is. I'm going to play that again, and it's very interesting to hear the clicking sound. So listen carefully and see if you can hear them clicking their way through the morning psalms. Oh, sorry. There we are. So the amazing thing about this is this idea that was also mentioned earlier about the idea that we were birthed into a world that has everything we need and everything we need to inspire, not only to nourish us physically, but also spiritually. This idea that's expressed in Genesis, now the Lord God took the earthling and God placed him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to guard it. And it's such a wonderful opportunity at the Mitzvah Garden and the work that so many other people are doing that allows us to connect with the earth. And again, the beautiful connection between this migration that really is just a natural part of nature and therefore a part of us, and the connection with the Passover and the Exodus. So thank you very much for letting me share. I look forward to perhaps seeing all of you, and you're all invited to come to the Mitzvah Garden. I'll share in the chat the connections, my email, and Brenda Ruppel, the farm coordinator's email, as well as our website. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ken. And I understand technical difficulties. I think we all do. I'm so pleased to introduce the next video. Unfortunately, we're holding this event during Ramadan. And so our Muslim brothers and sisters are engaged with breaking their fast as the sun's about to go down, and weren't able to be with us, but we have a video from Ayesha Sharif, who is a cave canon fellow who resides in Shawnee Mission, Kansas. She teaches English at the Metropolitan Community College in Kansas City, Missouri, and says of her poetry, poetry is a vehicle that allows me to write through an understanding of God, religion, and myself. My faith is constantly explored, tested, and revised with every draft of a poem. My Muslim faith pushes me to write about being a religious minority. It has also propelled me to use poetry to break traditional stereotypes surrounding Islam and Muslim women. And so, Bob, if you would play the video, we'll hear from Ayesha directly.
Hello, my name is Ayesha Sharif, and I'm excited today to be sharing a poem with you all in honor of this Earth Day celebration. As a Muslim, I'm always amazed at how Islam gives so much reverence for the creation and the natural world. And throughout the Quran, there are so many verses about the importance of honoring creation and viewing yourself as human as a part of creation. And so I always am honored to be able to share my work that is very much inspired by the poetry of the Quran. And just thinking about ways in which we as Muslims are meant to be united with the creation and the nature of animals and plants and land, and also view it as a way in which we can connect with the divine and actually strengthen our spirituality. So I'd like to share this poem with you that I have written, and it's called A Prayerful Nature. Here is earth, a mosque with no walls, ready for us to enter. Its red dirt and roads are rugs, the grounding we need to remember our bones and steady ourselves. Remove your shoes and feel God's work beneath you. Their roots go deep, spreading underground. Dig down into yourself so that you can bloom too. You are a tree that grows evergreen, magnolia, weeping willows. Do you see how God pulls us out of nothing, stretching tall and firm? Stand in line as a witness of creation. Rivers and oceans flow like words, carrying prayers upstream. Keep their waters clean. Only then can you hear their waves touching shores. Let God's verses touch yours. Recite them, wade deep in them. Listen to their beautiful reflection. And as you call out, look around. Others will come. The fawn, the ant, the dove, the cow, the bear. They stand and bow too, dutiful. They already know about earth and order. They are simply wondering when we will learn, when we will admit their breath, their strides, their need for existence. Make room for them. And if you forget, if you lose your place in recitation, having wandered too far from your nature, the moon and sun are there, guides pointing you north and east, west and south. Put your hands to your ears and let their celestial bodies orient you. Bend, then rise again. Direct yourself back. Remember, land, air, and water have made you. So turn to the right and turn to the left. Say, peace, peace be unto you all. This earth is an invitation to humble yourself daily, monthly, religiously. Handle it with care. Thank you very much, and have a beautiful Earth Day, and happy Eid Mubarak.
Oh, peace, peace, peace. Thank you, Ayesha, for sending that to us. Our next offering will be from the Buddhist faith tradition, Brian Boren Van Uwen. I turn it over to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm Brian, also known as Barefoot Bran in some circles. I am a member of the Rime Buddhist Center here in Kansas City, as well as an alternate counselor on the Interfaith Council. And I'm going to play a song that is a traditional meditation in Buddhism called metta meditation. It's also known as loving kindness meditation. And metta is also sometimes translated as friendliness. And it's this practice where we cultivate loving kindness or metta for ourselves and for others, and until we are sending metta to the entire world, to all beings. And in Buddhism, we understand ourselves as being this structure made of the world around us, in a sense. And so we can really kind of look at who we are as dependent upon the world, and we can send this loving kindness not only to ourselves and our friends and the other participants of humanity, but also the animals, the trees, the entire world, the systems of the climate and environments as well. And so I invite you, as I play this song, if you want to cultivate this loving kindness and send it out to the world. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be at peace. 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 May you be happy. May you be free. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. at peace, be at peace, be at peace, be at peace. May our friends be happy, may our friends be free, may our friends be healthy, may our friends be at peace, 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 be at peace. And may our foes be happy, may our foes be free, may our foes be healthy, may our foes be at peace, 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 be at peace. And may our world be happy, may our world be free, may our world be healthy, may our world be at peace, 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 be at peace. And may I be happy, may I be free, may I be healthy, may I be at peace, 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 be at peace. May all beings be happy, may all beings be free, may all beings be healthy, may all beings be at peace, 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 be at peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Peace, peace, peace. Okay, our next speaker is from the Hindu tradition, Shweta Chakraborty. Excuse me for mispronouncing your name. I'm afraid, but we'll share some dance. Thank you.
Chakraborty. Thanks, Ira. I'm Shweta Chakraborty. Good evening and namaste to you all. I am, as I said, Shweta Chakraborty. I'm an outreach member of the Hindu Temple of Kansas City, and I will be sharing a PowerPoint presentation and a video with you all. Give me a second. The message I'll be sharing was written by Dr. Dave Bhaduri, who is an outreach member of the Hindu Temple too. So here goes the message. Our ancestors, the wise men and women who we refer to as seers, realized our intricate relationship with Earth. We consider it our mother. I would like to cite one such words of wisdom from the Vedas, the source book of Hinduism, and composed about 4,000 years ago. In a part of the Vedas known as the Taittiriya Upanishad, there's a passage on food and its relationship to humans. It is written in Sanskrit, an ancient language of all Hindu scriptures, and is translated as follows. All beings that exist on earth are born of food, and therefore they live by food and ultimately go down. Just a second. I'll repeat it once more. I'm sorry. All beings that exist on earth are born of food. They therefore live by food and ultimately go back to earth and merge to become food themselves. Food is the oldest creature and it is the medicament for all. Food in Sanskrit is known as annam. As an example, humans, animals, plants, and all living creatures are born, nourished, and sustained by the elements of earth and atmosphere, and at the end of life, their bodies disintegrate and merge into Mother Earth. In Hinduism, the 5 basic elements of the universe are earth, water, air, fire, and space. During our life on earth, there is a continuous exchange of these elements that maintain the body and soul. At the end of life, when a body is cremated, the elements go back to Mother Earth to create new crops that again become food for future generations. There is a branch of medical science known as Ayurveda, where valuable medical plants, fruits, and plant roots are described that can cure various ailments. Scientists are finding health benefits of many such plants and herbs with minimal or no side effects. Mother Earth is our goddess of nature. Now I'll be sharing a video, which is a dance performance and has a prologue by Dr. Nivedita Ganguly.
Oh, my Mother Earth, you are so beautiful. We are blessed by your generosity. We cherish your beauty. We worship your greatness. Dance, Oh, my Mother Earth, choreography by Hema Sharma. It will be presented by students of Nritya School of Indian Dance and Music in Bharatanatyam style of Indian classical dance. Dance of Mother Earth.
सरे गरे गा पगा पानी 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 रे सा आज के शो हाथी थोरे पानी सरे गा रे सरे पगा गा पानी सरे सनी पगरे सरे सा रे गरे गा पगा पानी पा सा सा सरे रे रे गा 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 पा पा पानी पानी रे सा आज के शो हाथी थोरे आमरा शोभन शोभत कोरे भोर बो माके ভালোবাসায় নতুন আলো আশায় তোমার আমারে পৃথিবী এই আমাদের মা তোমার আমারে পৃথিবী এই আমাদের মা
Thank you all. May peace be with you.
Thank you, Shweta. Beautiful. Our next speaker will be Michael Stevens, a Protestant Christian director from the Interfaith Council. Michael.
Wow, I am honored, humbled, and excited to be a part of this evening's festivities. I'm the Reverend Michael Stevens, pastor of Southwood United Church of Christ in Raytown. It's from the Protestant Christian tradition, and I do serve on the Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council. When I was younger, I thought the most important question was, did the world come by evolution or was it created by God? Later, I came to realize that those two possibilities are not mutually exclusive. Then even later, I began to realize a different essential spiritual question. Is God an artist sitting at a heavenly easel creating the world with the option of wadding it up and throwing it away? Or is God a seed from which all of creation derives, who is intimately interwoven into all that is? From the vast Protestant Christian tradition, I have a music video for you from Peter Mayer called Holy Now. If you listen to the images, you will see how his view of the sacred expanded from what happens in the church to every single thing in the universe.
When I was a boy, each week on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at home. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. Holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Testament, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
I'll be putting in the chat the things that I am referencing here. Some friends of mine at church have been reading this book, Speak with the Earth and It Will Teach You by Daniel Cooperrider. The last things I have to say come from that book. Its premise is that amidst the many holy books in the world, creation itself is an open book that anyone can read. Meister Eckhart looked at a caterpillar and saw that every single creature is a book of God. Nan Shepherd from the Scottish Highlands wrote a book called The Living Mountain. And she writes, knowledge does not dispel mystery. One never quite knows the mountain. Knowing another is endless. The thing to be known grows with the knowing. And finally, Thomas Aquinas warns us, a mistake about creation is a mistake about God. Tonight, I pray that whether your access point is Jesus Christ or some other deep spiritual well, we may sense the sacred that permeates all of creation, recognize and correct the mistakes that have been made, and come to know and value the holy now. Thanks and peace.
Thank you, Michael. I keep hearing God speaking through all of us over and over again, saying much the same way in different beautiful, insightful, inspiring ways. Okay, our next speaker is Susan Nakao from the Sukyo Mahikari faith tradition. Susan?
Hi, everybody. Let me see if I can get this up and going. Somehow I think I have the wrong view up of the PowerPoint because it's showing me, I don't know, guys. I'm really sorry.
Would you like to figure that out on your
I'll
own?
try.
Okay, and I'll ask
Yeah.
Linda Boyce
Yes.
is,
Please go ahead.
Linda Boyce, oops.
The other day it wasn't showing this.
Linda Boyce is the pagan director on the Kansas City Interfaith Council. Linda, thank you.
Hello. This evening, before I came to this event, I watched the news as I usually do. Probably not the best idea, but one of the international stories was about the melting of the ice caps. It really feels overwhelming. As a practicing pagan, I believe that everything is interconnected in a web of life. Think like a spider web. And we are all connected to our mother. As such, I believe that what I do affects much more than myself. We can all do little things. We all need to be responsible for doing what we can. My story tonight that I'm going to read is a variation of the starfish story, this one by Peter Straub, and some of his comments, because part of what is happening is I believe that a lot of us feel small, and we need to realize that we can and do make a difference. You may have heard this one, but I find that it doesn't hurt to be reminded of it every once in a while. Once upon a time, there was an old man who used to go to the ocean to do his writing. He had a habit of walking on the beach every morning before he began his work. Early one morning, he was walking along the shore after a big storm had passed and found the vast beach littered with starfish as far as the eye could see, stretching in both directions. Off in the distance, the old man noticed a small boy approaching. As the boy walked, he paused every so often, and as he grew closer, the man could see that he was occasionally bending down to pick up an object and throw it into the sea. The boy came closer still, and the man called out, "Good morning! May I ask what it is you're doing?" The young boy paused, looked up, and replied, "Throwing starfish into the ocean. The tide has washed them up onto the beach, and they can't return to the sea by themselves. When the sun gets high, they will die unless I throw them back into the water." The old man replied, "But there must be thousands and tens of thousands of starfish on this beach. I'm afraid you won't really be able to make much of a difference." The boy bent down, picked up yet another starfish, and threw it as far out as he could into the ocean. Then he turned and smiled and said, "It made a difference to that one." We all have the opportunity to help create positive change. But if you're like me and other people, you sometimes find yourself thinking, I'm already really busy, and how much of a difference can I really make? I think this is especially true when we're talking about addressing massive problems like tackling climate change. But it pops up all the time in our everyday lives as well. So when I catch myself thinking that way, it helps to remember this story. You might not be able to change the entire world, but at least you can change a small part of it for someone. They say that one of the most common reasons we procrastinate is because we see the challenge before us as overwhelming. And that good way to counter that is to break the big challenge down into smaller pieces and then take those one at a time, like one starfish at a time. And to that one starfish, it can make a difference. I wanted to leave you with the words from some of the closing words that we use at Gaia Community, a local Unitarian Universalist pagan-themed congregation. And when you think about it, realize how important it is. And may we care for the earth and each other because our lives depend on it. Thank you for attending tonight and listening to me. I appreciate the wonderful talents and music and art that's been done so far this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. It does make a difference for each of those starfish and each of the things that we offer our love and care and compassion to. Susan, are you ready, or would you like me to show another video of something else while you work on your piece?
Can you turn it up? I can't hear anything he's saying.
Are you ready to go, or would you like us to do one more thing first?
I can try it again.
Okay. Susan?
Okay, we'll try. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Good, thank you. My name's Susan McCow, and I'm a counselor on the Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council, representing the spiritual path of Sukyo Mahikari, an international spiritual organization that welcomes people of all faiths and has spread from Japan throughout the world in the past 65 years or so. Tonight I have the pleasure of presenting music, art, poetry, and even a prayer from both Japanese and American members and friends of Sukyo Mahikari on the theme of an awakened world. The music that you'll be hearing in the background is called Flute Collage, Heaven on Earth, from a friend of mine, Kazuko Miyoshi Stratman of the New York Dojo. Our first poem tonight is The Origin is One. Can you see the slide change?
Yes.
Good, thank you. This is The Origin is One. It's by another friend of mine, Susan Rogers from the Los Angeles Dojo. And I'll start now. The dove knows the way. Follow her. Your heart knows the way. Listen well. Within your deepest self are wings of light. They cover the earth with waves of love. Do you remember? You once knew. Stand in the warmth of sunlight and recall. The origin of the world is one. The origin of religions is one. The origin of all humankind is one. Circle back. Imagine the great will of all things stirring in your fingers. Reach out your arms and open your palms to the sky. It is time. Our second poem is titled Autumn Dream in a Post-Human Era, and I wrote it about 10 years ago after reading something in our Book of Holy Words from page 78, Japanese page 103. A person is essentially the most sublime work of art among all God's creation. One can never create a person through human knowledge. Therefore, only humans can understand art, mirror the Creator, and produce things by imitating his work. So in this poem, you'll hear a part about a post-human era. You'll understand a little more. So I belong to the Houston Center, even though I live on a 40-acre farm in the greater Kansas City area. Autumn dream in a post-human era. What wondrous power fuels the flight of dragonflies, perfectly synchronized, breathing and prospering from ancient times until today. Brilliantly iridescent, divine light, momentary vibrations dancing amidst maple colors, symbols of spiritual enlightenment in a post-human era. Victorious samurai, dragonfly flags waving in the autumn breeze, ancient memories echoing the emptiness of my heart. Endless hauntings and unsettling vision of our descendants yearning for the sounds of nature's music, forgotten seasons, lost fragrances in a post-human era. Seeking perfect health and indefinite lifespans, the illegitimate transformation of immutable divine wisdom according to human aspirations, cloaked in humane values. Princeton, Oxford, origins of scholarly pursuit, lost in a sfumato glaze, yet steadily advancing with unbridled desires. Transcending this world, drifting on gossamer wings in the autumn breeze, existing beyond the realm of human art and scholarly intent, flitting in and out of an autumn dream, awakening our souls to muse in wonder in a post-human era. And our last poem, called A Poem on Wonder, was written by our founder, Kotama Okada, who had a very important revelation for the future of humankind. And then he wrote this poem. I turned my eyes from one unified sky to the earth. In solitude, I'm staring at a flower. In solitude, I'm staring at a bird. I see a pulsating life truly cherished. I see the beauty that can never be imitated, the beauty of fragrance unintentional, and moreover without flaunting, working diligently and playing as if having some purpose, then again having none. Nature, true beauty, and the laws are moving. No, they are living and allowed to live. There it is. I see God's great love motionless and yet pulsating limitlessly, wondrous. I see God's wisdom motionless and endlessly active, wondrous. Unchanging, eternal, and repeatedly refreshing vibrations of the taste of endless love and force, wondrous. In grass, trees, birds, animals, insects, fish, one and all, human eyes deeply ought to be able to see the world of wondrous wisdom, but they are unable. Wondrous. On this page, we also have a prayer that all members have been asked to repeat daily for this year. So in our version of it, we say in this 14th year, because our present spiritual leader has been with us now, leading us for 14 years. So this is a prayer that our present spiritual leader has shared with us, but I've changed 14th to just make it more general. And you're invited to say this prayer every day too, if you would like to. In this year of God-centeredness, may heaven and earth prosper throughout eternity. In this year of spirit-centeredness, may heaven and earth prosper throughout eternity. In this year of light-centeredness, may heaven and earth prosper throughout eternity. Thank you so much for letting me share tonight in spite of my tech problems. And if you'd like more information on Sukyo Mahikari, there's a website here, www.sukyomahikari.org. And my phone number is listed there. You can call anytime. Thank you so much. It's a joy to be with all of you and to see how much every faith teaches us.
Well, thank you. We're down to the wire here. Somehow our time has gotten taken up, but we have one last offering. This is from a video from Geneva Blackmere, who serves as an at-large director of the Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council. And she is currently a research assistant at University of Bonn in Germany. So it's very early in the morning there, and she's a great advocate of interfaith work. So let's just play the video before we run out of time.
Hi everyone, my name is Geneva Blackmer, and I am a counselor representing Zen Buddhism on the Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council. I'm a lay Buddhist practitioner with the Quantum School of Zen, which is from the Korean Rinzai lineage. Today, I would like to share a poem with all of you from Shido Bunon, who was a Japanese monk, also from a Rinzai Zen tradition. You ask why I live alone in the mountains. I smile and am silent until even my heart grows quiet. The peach trees blossom, the water flows. Unconcerned with human affairs, we sit together, the mountain and me, until only the mountain remains.
Thank you, Geneva, for sending that. And so that concludes our presentations. I want to thank all of the contributors. I am astounded by all the different beautiful inspirations that you offered from coming from nature. And I hope that this has served to increase in you that are all with us the desire to care for the earth, to feel a stronger connection to nature, and to help our planet. It needs our help. We need transformation in the way that we treat it. The earth is our mother. I'll echo the Native American saying. So we do have just a few minutes that we can go longer. If anyone has any questions, please type them in the chat. If not, I'll invite any of our presenters, if they have a last word. We can take one or two if anyone would like to say a closing word. Ken, please.
Let's see if that's working. All right, so I just wanted to, I had left off. Oh, hold on. A really important part of my presentation, which is the purple martins actually migrate from Brazil. So the purple martins that you saw migrated just a few weeks ago, all the way from Brazil up to Overland Park, Kansas, and where they live at the Mitzvah Garden. And so that was the symbolic connection between a migration north from Egypt to Israel, or from Brazil to Overland Park, Kansas.
Thank you, Ken. Well, we're at the end of our time, and we don't have any questions. I want to thank everyone for being here, and I wish that we all go walk gently in peace and blessing, and feel God's presence, or however you conceive of Mother Earth in every day, every moment. Miracles are constantly flowing in and around us. Blessings, miracles, gifts from Mother Earth. We just need to take care of her. Thank you.